Okay, so today we're going to add and subtract fractions, but now when we move to the problem solving part, there'll be negatives and positive signs. Okay, get ready, here we go. But before that, we will study some basic stuff such as lowest terms, improper fractions to mixed forms to improper fractions, like and unlike fractions. So let's start with fractions in the lowest terms. 12 over 60, right? How do I get the lowest terms? I could do continuous division. Divide by 2, that becomes 6 over 30. But I could still divide it by what number? By 2 again. Okay, divide by 2, because you know it's even, right? So that becomes 3 over 15. Now, can I still divide it by 2? Think of another number. Yes, I could divide it by 3. Divide by 3 on top, divide by 3 at the bottom. So that becomes what? 3 divided by 3, 1, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 1/5 is the same fraction, but now it is reduced to the lowest term. So 1/5 is the same as 1260 and the same as all of this. Okay, next. Now, you could also, the easiest way is to divide it by the greatest common factor. And what is the greatest common factor? Think of it. I could divide it by 2, by another 2, and another 3. That means I could divide it by a bigger number, which is 12. That's the greatest common factor, right? So, top divided by 12, the bottom divided by 12, and I will get what? 1 over 5. See? Directly, you could get the answer without going through continuous division. Improper fractions to mixed forms. Why is this called improper? It's because the top number, the numerator, is greater than the denominator. This is the numerator, then this is the denominator. That's not allowed. A regular fraction is that, the numerator is less than the denominator. So what do I do? Simply divide it, okay? Divide the numerator by the denominator. The 12 goes in. The one on top goes in. Remember that. The one on top goes inside. Okay, and then the one at the bottom is the divisor. It's the one outside. So how many sevens can I get in 12? I can get 1. So be sure that 1 is a big number, okay? It's a whole number. 1 times 7 is 7. Then you could subtract. You'll get a remainder of 5. Now, the tricky part is this 5. How can I make 5 as fraction? I put it up. Okay, that goes 5 on top. Over what denominator now? I will use the divisor of 7 and place it there. So the answer is 1 and 5/7. Next, how about the mixed forms to improper fractions? Okay, when do you use this? You're gonna use this when you do multiply and divide, because you cannot multiply and divide with a whole number. Okay, so it has to be a fraction. I want it a number on top over a number below, just a fraction. Okay, this is the style. This is the way you do it. Okay, 7 times 2, and then add the 3. Okay, so that becomes what? 17 over, copy the same denominator. See that? That 7 is there. And that becomes 17 over 7. Mixed to improper. Mixed to improper. They are the same. Now let's talk about like fractions. Why are these like fractions? Look at the bottom. Look at the denominator. Yes, the denominators are all the same. That's why they're called like fractions. Sometimes they call it similar. Similar and like, that's the same. Now the bottom is unlike or dissimilar because, again, look at the denominator. Yes, they are different. So different denominators, unlike fractions. Now, let's proceed to adding like fractions first. Last Wednesday, Ashley swept 3/8 of the classroom and Italia did 1/8 of the classroom. What part of the classroom was swept? So, definitely we're going to add them. Now, adding similar or like fractions is easy. Why? Check this out. Let's model it first, okay? That is the 3/8 and that is the 1/8. Put them together. How many shaded part do we have? We have 4/8. So what have you noticed? Okay, 4/8 actually is 1/2. 4/8 is half of the whole part of the job. Check that out. This is half of the whole part of the job. Okay, so this is the answer. Now, you don't need to draw all the time because when you know that the denominators are the same, check it out. What did we do? Simply copy the denominator. And what did we do the top number? We added them. Okay, so that becomes add the numerator, the number on top, and then copy the common denominator, the number down. That's so easy. Then, of course, we simplify our fraction, lowest terms. Now, subtracting like fractions. Mr. Buenaventura bought 5/8 of a rectangular pizza. He shared 3/8 of the pizza with his best students. What part of the pizza is left? Okay, so now it is subtraction because you took away the 3/8. Again, if you write that um, or model it, you will see this one. This is the 5/8. You take away the 3/8. So what is the remaining? This is 2/8. Again, what have you observed with the numerator and the denominator? Oh, by the way, we reduce the lowest terms again. That's 1/4. Okay, again, the rule is that you subtract the numerator. Just subtract them. But the bottom, what do? Just copy the bottom. There you go. Copy the common denominator, the one below. And of course, you simplify your answer. Okay, practice with this. Get a scrap paper, pause, and then check out your answers. Here are the answers. Got it? Good job. One more. Got it? Good job. Now, the problem is, how do we add unlike fractions? For example, Rain used 1/2 cups of sugar for the cake she was baking. After an hour, she added 3/4 cups of sugar to the same mixture. How much cups of sugar has Rain used? So, write it down as an expression. The 1/2, this is it. And the 3/4, that's it. Okay. So yes, we're going to add. But first, check this out. How do we add the wrong way? So kids will do this. 1 plus 3 equals 4, the one on top. Then the bottom, they do 2 plus 4, 6. They just add the numbers by row. And then they get lowest terms, 2/3. Okay, they think it's that way. Take note, you cannot do it that way. You cannot add the top, add the bottom because the denominators are not the same. We have to make them the same. So what shall you do? Make them similar. Okay, so 1/2 could be written as another fraction. 3/4 could be written as another fraction. Okay, we want to make them the same denominator. So I could use a 4. Okay, a 4. If I make this a 4, what did I do at the bottom? I multiplied by 2. Therefore, on top, I also multiply by 2. Okay, so that becomes 2 on top. Here, there is no change. It's the same thing. Times 1 times 1. So 3/4. Now they have the same denominator. Now, just like before, it becomes easier. I can simply add the numerators. 2 plus 3 goes there. And then copy the same denominator of 4. So the answer is 2 plus 3, 5/4. Since that is improper, remember, I divide it. I get 1 and 1/4. So Rain has used 1 and 1/4 cups of sugar. Another one, adding unlike fractions. Mr. Green bought 2/5 pounds of screws for a home project. At home, he saw that he already has 1/4 pounds of screws. How much screws does Mr. Green have? Okay, so let's move on. 2/5 plus 1/4. We're adding unlike fractions again. Check this out. Check this out. So again, don't do the wrong way. 2 plus 3, 2 plus 1 is 3. 5 plus 4 is 9. And then 1/3. No, you cannot do that. Okay? Because again, why? The denominators are Different. Okay, so let's make them the same then. Where will 5 and 4 meet? 5, 10, 15, 20. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. They met at what? The 20. Okay, so their least common denominator is 20. So therefore, you want to make the bottom a 20. Okay, so what did I do to make it 20? Think of a pattern times 4 here, times 4 below. Therefore, on top, it's also times 4. So that becomes what? An 8. At the bottom now, I did what? Times 5. So at top also, what will I do? Times 5. That becomes 5 over 20. Now the denominators are the same. It will make our life easier. Simply add the top 8 plus 5. We're going to get 13 and copy the same denominator of 20. Can I still reduce that to the lowest terms? No more. So that's the answer. Mr. Green has 13/20 pounds of screws. Okay, now we're subtracting unlike fractions or dissimilar fractions. Miss James bought 3/4 of a cake in school. Wow, just 3/4, not the whole thing? Yeah. But she decided to give half cake, half to the students of the month. How much cake was left for Miss James? So, obviously, because you're giving it away, you subtract them. Okay, 3/4 minus 1/2. Now, again, the wrong way. I'll show you the wrong way. 3 minus 1 is a 2. 4 minus 2 is a 2. 2 over 2 is a 1. How come Miss James would have another whole cake when she gave away a portion of the cake? So that can't happen. That is the wrong way. Again, you cannot add and subtract because the denominators are different. We'll have to make them similar. Okay, that 4 and that 2 should be the same. What is the least common denominator? Where will the multiples meet? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 4, 8, 12. They immediately met at 4. So the denominator should be 4. To make them similar, so times 1 at the bottom, times 1 on top. Okay? So that becomes a 3 on top, times 2 at the bottom, times 2 on top. That becomes 2. Now we can subtract them because 3 minus 2 is a 1. And then copy the same denominator, of 4. So 1/4 of the cake was left. Mrs. James has 1/4 of a cake left for her. One more example. Try this on your own. The distance from the house to the mall is 7/8 of a kilometer. Jamil decided to walk and have traveled 2/3 kilometer. How far will Jamil's remaining distance be? So remaining, the big one, take away a portion. Will you add or subtract? Yes, you subtract. So there we go. So when we subtract again the wrong way, 7 minus 2 is a 5. 8 minus 3 is a 5. No, we cannot do that, right? It cannot be 1 kilometer left to travel. No. So what do I do? Make them similar first. Think again, where will 8 and 3 meet? 8, 16, 24, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yes, they will meet at 24. Okay, right, 24. So the bottom, to make that 24, what did we do? We did times 3 below, times 3 on top, that becomes 21. And then how about 3 became a 24? Times 8 below, therefore let's do times 8, the same thing on top. 2 times 8 is 16. Now you can subtract your 21 and 16. That becomes 5 and copy the same denominator. 5/24. Jamil needs to travel 5/24 kilometers. Now, practice time. Add or subtract the following. Take note, the denominators are different. You have to make them similar first. Okay, write in your scrap paper. Once you're ready, let's check your answers. Ready? Oh, here are the answers now. So the answers here are in lowest terms. Check again. Probably you did not reduce to the lowest terms. Now, what if the fractions have signs? How do we add or subtract? Now, this is the challenging part. We're going to add and subtract with integers, with negatives and positives. What is the difference of the fractions. Use the number line to help the answer. Okay, we have to make use of the number line, but take note, the 0 is over here. Okay, 1 is over there, and in between, 2 is over there. In between, we divided it into 7 equal parts because the fraction says 7. See that? 7. Okay, so let's start with 0 to positive 4 sevens. Where is 4 sevens? We'll stop there. Okay, positive 4 sevens. So again, remember when we made number line, start with 0, go to the first value, 4 sevens. But now, before we proceed, remember keep change opposite when you subtract. So that means I'll have to rewrite it as 4 sevens plus now opposite of 10 sevens will be negative 10 sevens. Okay, so how do you add a positive and a negative? Now let's go back to the number line. Let's go back to the number line. So from here, we are at 4 sevens. We will now move to a negative. Okay, negative is moving to the right. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So where did I end? I ended here. So my answer is negative 6 sevenths. So this is the answer, negative 6 sevenths. Now, suppose you don't use a number line, just use what we've learned a while ago. Copy the same denominator, which is 7. And then what do you do with the numerator? 4 plus a negative 10. Remember your rules in integers. Different signs subtract the absolute value. That's 6. And copy the sign of the bigger absolute value, negative. So whether you do it with a number line or the simple algorithm, you'll get the same answer. Next problem. What is the difference of these fractions? Again, we have a number line to help us. Start with 0. Always start with 0. Move to 1 half. 1 half is positive. Take note, this is 1. Half would be where? It's split by 10 units, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So the middle should be here. Okay, so where will I start? I start from here, 0. I will move to half. Half is over there. Okay, any questions so far? None. Good. So, but again, remember your keep change opposite. 1 1/2 minus 1 and 1/5. Okay, so keep the 1/2, add the opposite 1 and 1/5. Okay, now take note of this. It is now 1 and 1/5. So how do I move? Now, since this is negative, take note of that. So I'll be moving this way. But how and how many units? So take note, it is 1 whole and a fifth. What is 1 whole and a fifth? They have different denominators, remember? But if you made everything is based on 10, so I could rename this as negative 1. If I want to name 5 as a 10, so that's a times 2. Therefore, this is also a times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So I will move a whole and 2 tenths. Okay, from here, how can you move a whole if you're already in half? So from here, I will move into a whole, half, and another half. So I'm here. That's the 1 whole part. This is the 1 whole part. But I still need to move 2 tenths. Where is those 2 tenths? 1 tenth and 2 tenths over there. So I ended here. What do you name that part? Between negative 6 and negative 8, that's a negative 7. So there you go. This is the answer, negative 7 tenths. Johnny rode his bike for 7 of a mile from his house to the lake. So this is Johnny biking. Johnny biking. Okay. So from here, he was able to travel 4 sevens. Okay. He was supposed to go to the lake. To the lake. Okay. Now, it's on a straight path. Okay. Then he turned around and rode his bike 3 and 1/8 miles. So turn around, went back. Okay. Farther though. Farther. Okay. 3 and 1/8. This is 3 and 1/8 miles. So remember the house started here. This is the house. Okay, how far is he now? How far is he from the house? Okay, so you can think of this as, a longer distance minus the shorter distance, you will get the remaining distance. So obviously you will add or subtract. You will subtract. So let's organize our subtraction equation. Then let's write 3 and 1/8 minus 4/7. Okay? So I cannot subtract. You know why? Because the denominators are different. So let's make them the same by getting the least common denominator of 56. Let's write down 56. Okay, to make an equivalent fraction, times 8 below times 8 on top, that becomes 32. Okay, so here, times 7 below times 7 on top, that becomes 7. Okay, 3 and 756 minus 32 over 56. But this is weird, guys. Check this out. How can you remove 32 parts from 7 parts only? You don't have enough. But guess what? You can rename your 3. You can rename your 3 as 2. It's like borrowing from 3. And that one whole that you borrow, make it a fraction. 2 and 56 over 56. Okay? So that's the 3. That's the 3. But remember, you still have that, what? Plus the 7 over 56. Then later on, we will subtract the 32 over 56. But guess what? That 56 can now be added to 7. So 56 plus 7 is now a 63 over, copy the denominator, 56. And that three whole number is now a two whole number. So 2 and 63 over 56, subtract your 32 over 56. Now you can subtract, see? You will get what? 31. 31 over 56. Don't forget the whole number. All right, so this is your answer. But if you look at the choices, you don't have it, right? But the nearest is 2. But why did they change 31 over 56 as 1/2? Because 31 over 56 is like 30 over 60. If you round it, right? It's near 30 over 60 or almost 1/2. So it's okay to round because it says about. You don't need the exact, you just need about. So our correct answer is 2.5 miles. Okay, got it? Good job. Noah was in the forest and measured the circumference of 2 trees that he found. The first tree was measured 37 and 5/8 inches. All right, the other one is 45 and 1/3 inches. Noah wants to find the difference. Okay, and what do you remember about difference? You subtract them. Okay, now these are his steps. He wants to be organized. Let's see if he did it right. The bigger one, correct, minus the smaller one. Step 1 is good. Step 2, now, he knows that the denominators are what? Different. So he has to make them the same. He used a denominator of 24, 24. Okay, let's check. 3 times 8, 24. 1 times 8 is correct, 8. 8 times 3 is 24, correct. 5 times 3 is 15, correct. Did he copy the whole number 45? Yes. Did he copy the whole number 37? Correct. So step 2, he is correct with step 2. Check. Now, can you take away the 15 from the 8? He's ready to subtract now. He's ready to subtract now. Now, how will we do that? Okay, let me just change the ink. Here we go. How can you take away the 8? I take away 8 minus 15, all right, for this one, right? It's impossible. So he did regrouping. He regrouped the number 45. Take note. This 45 and 8/24, he made it what? He took away 1 from 45. He made it 44. And the other one that he borrowed, he made it 24 over 24. Okay? That's still a 45, right? Agree? Yes. Now, can I add it now to the fraction of 8/24? Okay, I can now add the 8 and the 24. That becomes 32. Check out step 3. Step 3, he wrote what? He wrote 32 over there. Correct. All right? Because 24 plus 8 is 32 over 24. Correct. So this part, he's okay. The second part, no change. So far, he's doing good. Okay, step 3 is okay. Let's check the last step. 32 minus 15. 32 minus 15 is 17. We're good. How about 24 and 24? Simply copy it. Correct. But let's check the whole number. 44 minus 37. 44 minus 37 is a 7. And what did he write? He wrote an 8. So in that case, what happened? He got it wrong in step 4. So this is our answer. All right, you got it? So that's how you add and subtract fractions with signs.